Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Treeline Podcast. My name is Don't Worry About It. Anyways, if you don't already like, follow, subscribe, please, to the Treeline Podcast so we get more likes, follows, and subscribers. Again, with me today, King Charles. How you doing, Charlie? All right. Anyhow, not a whole lot going on this week. Just checking in with you guys, man. I'm putting in my 30 minutes for you guys. I got my Celsius, so if you ain't got a Celsius, you better fucking be cracking into a Celsius. A couple things going on in my life this week. Still working, still doing learning carpentry. It's not easy. I feel like a child, but when you're learning something new, you got to start from nothing to get to something. You know what I'm saying? So we're cruising through this. It's not easy, but we're learning. Let's see. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Life's going well. We're having issues with the homestead in Florida. I rented out my home in Florida. Having issues with the tenant already. I'm not gonna say names. I'm not gonna say where in Florida or anything like that. It's just stress that I didn't think I'd be dealing with this soon after renting out the house. Not a big deal. I'm sure the person will watch this and probably have their own 2 cents, which I'm not really into arguing with them anymore. It's just, look, man, you don't want to be there, terminate the lease and leave. You know what I mean? That's simple as that. Otherwise, be an adult, pay your rent. You know what I'm saying? And I'll leave it at that. How you doing, boss? Yeah. Lately, I have been going to church on Sundays. Am I a huge religious freak? Not necessarily, no. Do I believe in God? I think there's a God. I think there's something out there, obviously more powerful than us, that has something going on that we don't completely understand, but something spiritual. I think there's something out there for sure. You good, boss? You all right, Charlie? All right. He's probably going to rack out here shortly. Anyways, yeah, so like I said, I'm not huge into religion, but I do believe there's something higher than us. There's some kind of higher power. There's something responsible for what's going on here. Although we can't even really explain it, I think there's something more. There's something more to it. Regardless, I've been going to church, not necessarily because of my religious beliefs, but because I have family that goes to church. And like I said, man, the reason why I left where I was in Florida to come to where I am, and don't worry where the fuck I'm at, is because of family, and I want to, I want to work. That's my main focus is family and work up here. So if my family's going to church, why would I waste an hour away from them if I spent all that time coming up here to be around them? Why would I not just go spend an hour with them in church? So I'm going. I just brought that up because I got to meet the priest. We didn't get to speak a whole lot. I don't even remember his name, and I'm not going to say the name of the church or anything, but he is a National Guardsman. So, like, for example, this weekend, I know he told us last weekend that he was going to go to his post or duty or whatever it is called when they go once a month for 2 days. But I got to meet him after church, man. And look, we didn't talk a whole lot. Like I said, everybody's rushing out of church, and everybody wants to talk to the priest when they go to church. I'm not sure what it is. Just more blessings, I guess. But regardless, it's just cool to have a military priest, man. I got a lot of respect for chaplains. All right, and in the Marine Corps we had chaplains. Excuse me, the Navy had chaplains that were attached to Marine units. So we had chaplains from they've been in for long times. Then they'd have assistants that were also Navy, like assistant chaplains and stuff. But there'd be like one per unit. But sometimes you'd get that chaplain that's only been attached to like infantry units, and this guy's got like combat action. He's got like, maybe a Purple Heart or some real badass shit on his stack. You know what I'm saying? So I just got a lot of respect for combat chaps, man. They get out there and they get after it, and the chaplains that are going to their special duties once a month, like this National Guardsman over here at my church, that's badass, bro. I got so much respect for that and love for that. Let me tell you something, man. I've been through it in the military, bro. And like I said, I'm not super religious, but sometimes it's good to have somebody that's more versed in higher powers or whatever around you to kind of guide you through prayer or guide you through some kind of spiritual enlightenment. Huge fan of the chaps. So I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just saying that I'm going to church, and it's cool. It's a nice transition from not going to church to going to church, being that there's a military chaplain there preaching every week, which I like a lot. So I'm gonna keep going. Like I said, for my family, if it sticks on me or something, if I stay religious, I don't know. But I'm not killing myself over it. Like I said, I just want to be around family, and just the fact that there's a chaplain there, a military chaplain, it just makes it better. Like I remember, it's like, for example, when you have a chaplain on deployment and they're going from FOB to FOB to FOB, and we're forward operating base. So they're going from this platoon position out in the middle of the desert or in the middle of Marja or wherever the hell it is you're at to another platoon position somewhere else. So they're doing these convoys, to get the chaps out to each platoon or squad position depending on where you're at, and they would. They sit down for a couple of hours with whoever wants to speak to them. It's not forced. You know what I mean? Sometimes if they do have you in formation and they do the whole spiel, hey, let us pray, you're going to tilt your head down because you don't have a fucking choice. You know what I'm saying? But when they would come out and visit us, I remember it didn't matter what rank you were. Like, if it doesn't matter what rank you are. When the chap comes and he wants to talk to everybody, if you want to talk to the chaps, like, you can all go there and speak to him. Staff NCOs, privates, it don't matter. And in that situation, there's kind of like not a rank structure. When the chaps is talking to you, the staff NCOs will spill their personal spirituality in front of privates. And privates will do the same in front of staff NCOs. I've seen it. That's why I know it exists. But I got a lot of respect for those men because even in the heat of it, you know what I mean? In the midst of it, what the fuck I just pressed there? But chaplains will be right there on the front lines with these badass motherfucking infantrymen, or whatever special operations units we're talking about. But these guys are badass, man. These priests, you know what I mean? There's a movie with Gerard Butler. I seen it one time, and I'm pretty sure it takes place in Africa. But it's called Machine Gun Preacher, and it just reminds me of like a combat chaps. You know what I mean? Because like he's out there getting after it. Anyways. Yeah, so I've been drinking some caffeine. I got an exciting night tonight. I'm going to go eat dinner with some family. Which, it's weird because, like, I never used to get really excited about things like this. You know what I mean? Like, spending time with family, not hanging out with friends, not going out and partying. I'm in my late 30s. Well, mid to late 30s. And it's like, I want to spend my time around my family. And I want to spend my time... I work with family, too, so I work. Back in the day, I just wanted to, fuck off and be away from everybody or go party or do something stupid. But now it's just like, I don't have the energy for that shit, But it is what it is, I do go out from time to time, and it just takes a lot of fucking energy. And then the next day, it's just like, why'd I do that to myself? Why'd I spend the money on all these drinks? I could have got my own 12-pack or why'd I make that bad decision that I'm not going to get into specifics about? You know what I'm saying? The next day, like, you start to contemplate, like, God, I'm fucking up my life, right? So what do? Fucking, we do it again next weekend. But I'm not going to get into a rant about just fucking your life up because I think I'm on the back end of fucking my life up. I'm trying to straighten that shit out. And the podcast has helped me do so, and I've talked about that in the past as well. But regardless... what else is going on? Let's see. Hamas and Israel. I'm not too versed in it. I have been listening to some podcasts on it. It just sounds like hell. I know that Gaza, I guess a third of the missiles that are fired by Gaza actually land or explode. The ordnance explodes on Gaza territory. So a third of the missiles they're firing explode on their own land. That's just extremely just careless. Like, and the images that are coming out of Israel, oh my God, man! Like, where you going? Hey, what are you doing? Pulling kids from the rubble. Hey, you can't touch that. Back up. Excuse me. You left me. But yeah, so pulling young bodies from the rubble, and then seeing their parents fall to their knees and just burst into tears, cry, just complete and utter hopelessness. It's incredibly fucking sad. War's sad. War sucks. And now it's sad and sucks more because everybody has access to the images, to the videos, to the pictures. But I mean, like in Vietnam, like there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Twitter or X or whatever. There wasn't all this shit. So like nobody really knew until the stories came back home. For example, the My Lai massacre, right? I mean, we didn't really know about that until it was brought out in the news, right? Like it wasn't floating around Facebook, right? Like, for example, if those of you that remember, I believe it was 3-2, snipers pissing on dead Taliban bodies. You all remember that? It went all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's why these guys got in so much trouble. Not saying that they should have been pissing on the dead bodies, but I'm saying that it's so much easier to fuck up and get in trouble in the military now than it used to be, just because of all the shit that people can see and all the desensitizing motherfucker. Desensitizing. Is that what it is? Desensitized. I don't know. The amount of people that have been desensitized by just the imagery is kind of despicable, right? We got people that can literally watch beheadings in their middle school classroom. You know what I mean? On Instagram. Dude, I had just recently Instagram. I'm not sure you guys are tracking this, but on Instagram, you can manipulate your sensitivity settings so you can see more crazy shit than normal. So I went ahead and loosened the sensitivity rating on my Instagram, and now Instagram is a whole different thing. And it's just crazy that anybody with the Instagram app on a cell phone, anybody, I'm talking below 10 years old, if your kids got access to Instagram, they can manipulate their sensitivity settings and they can see all kinds of shit. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, right? Because if the rest of the world's desensitized, you don't want your kid to be the only sensitive one, right? In the world of desensitization, you don't want your child to be the only sensitive one because it's going to be a very scary and lonely world for that child. So if the whole world's desensitized, maybe it'd be wrong for for just anybody not to jump on that boat or jump on that train, right? But yeah, man, Instagram has become something completely different for me the last like 4 or 5 days. I mean, I'm talking like brutal things that are hard to watch. Some is just like incredible that it's on the internet. But car accidents, which obviously we have all seen car accidents, but I'm talking about like if you loosen up that sensitivity settings, these car accident videos get crazier. And then obviously executions, and then, murder and shit. You can see all that on Instagram. And whether you believe you can't, you're wrong. Because the the sensitivity settings on Instagram are easy to manipulate. So just, I'm not saying if you got kids on Instagram, just, take a look. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that brings me back to my other point. Like, is it a good thing to not let them desensitize themselves if the rest of the world around them is desensitized? It just seems like if they're the only sensitive ones, it would be an extremely scary world around them. So I don't know, something to think about. But yeah, Instagram is something completely different to me now. I can only handle it in doses. And let me tell you something, man. It'll fuck with your psyche, dude. The desensitization. And let me tell you something, man. I've been desensitized in the Marine Corps. And a lot of the shit in the Marine Corps they show you is just kind of commonplace now on Instagram. So it's just, especially now with Ukraine and Russia. Dude, like we're talking about vivid HD video of these guys using drones to drop RPG fucking rounds on machine gun positions or any enemy position. Dude, that didn't exist when I was in the Marine Corps, man. Like, we had to use indirect fire weapons if we wanted to use ordnance like that. We couldn't just fucking use a drone and drop it off. I mean, you can invent things, right? I'm sure you got to pass up the chain of command, but for example, the sickle that all Marines know of, I'm pretty sure most infantry cats across the branches probably know of. Excuse me. It's just getting hot in here. But the sickle, right? As we all know, we would use with a big claw on it. We use it kind of like drop it on the ground 10, 15 feet away and pull it back slowly to see if there's wires or something coming from the ground. We all know what the sickle is. I can't tell you exactly what unit it was, but the sickle was an invention by some grunts, dude. It wasn't just came up about, it wasn't like some officer wrote some SOP and invented the sickle. No, dude, it came from young grunts. Like, they didn't like walking up to fucking bombs. Nobody likes that shit. So they built a sickle, and it's really simple system. It expands. It reaches out, like I said, you can say 10 to 15 feet. I think I've seen bigger ones, but you can go out pretty far and just drag it back slowly. It's got a little hook, and it'll pull up any, wires that are close to the surface of the ground, right? And it's just better than exploring on your own or with your fingers. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the sickle is an invention. So who knows, man? The infantry invents things. If it comes up to be convenient, they're gonna make something to not get hurt. And I'm not sure where I was going with that, but let's see. We were talking about sensitivity, and then we got into sickles. I don't know where that came from, but fuck it. But yeah, a lot of this shit that kind of seem a little unorthodox. You know, I don't know about Marines, but grunts across the board build this shit. Like they use it. Hey, can I help you? Come here, Bubba. Charlie. I don't know. He's up here, out of frame, I guess is the term. But yeah. So besides that, everything's good. I love it here. I love where I am, and where I am is obviously not your concern. But I love the change I've made in my life. It's obviously been for the better. There's been some cloudiness. I think there's some overwhelmingness between myself and my family. It's just overwhelming. I've been gone for so long, and then just to come back to it, it's overwhelming. So, although it's overwhelming, the more time that goes by, the more right it feels. You know. Yeah. So I'm happy I made this change. I'm happy I'm not where I was, 2 months ago. Mentally, physically, or emotionally. I've changed a lot. An old buddy that I explained to my sibling about, that I serve with. Now, this old buddy of mine, I'm not gonna, like I said, I never drop names, right? And we talked about him coming on here, maybe because he's not local, so we might do like a remote thing if we end up doing it, where he'll end up being in front of his computer, and I'll be able to mix that all in, and, in the final product, mix it down, and you'll be able to see us both on screen. A remote podcast recording, I guess. But he's been sobering up. And in his sobriety, he's discovered that he likes to write poetry. And, dude, this is one of the baddest motherfuckers that I've ever met walking this planet. Now, this guy was an infantry school instructor. He was my infantry school instructor, right? So he'd already been in, I think, 4 years before I'd even joined. And when I got to infantry school, he's one of the most badass instructors I've ever had. And I still do have a lot of respect for this man. But he made infantrymen, right? And anyways, he's sobering up. He's discovered that he's into poetry and writing, and he's been sending me just these little snippets of these poems. And this dude, it's coming out of him. All right, it's there's shit deep down in that man that's coming out. And dude, I almost teared up the other day reading some of these messages, because it's like seeing your friends fix their fucking lives. It's like seeing your friends save their own fucking life, man. That's what it's like seeing. And there's nothing greater than that, especially when you come from the infantry. And dude, there's cats out there. And a lot of you infantry dudes watching this, there's cats out there just like you and me that just blew their own fucking brains out, dude. Blew their own brains out, hung themselves, ended their own lives somehow or another, right? Without seeking any guidance from friends, just completely in the darkness, alone by themselves. So to see your friends that have been through the shit with you, sober up, come away from the depression and the darkness, and find something beautiful to put light and happiness into, like poetry. I don't give a fuck if it's podcasting, whatever the fuck it is that you find some positivity and light in to keep you away from the fucking darkness, dude, I'm about it. I'm fucking about it. I don't care if you fucking got a horseback ride. I don't care. And if you think you're too badass to save your own fucking life, if you think you're too badass to own a cat, if you think you're too badass to write poetry, dude, you're going to live in a corner by yourself for the rest of your fucking life. And if you don't kill yourself, you're going to live in that corner as a fucking coward. And look, man, I'm not saying you should kill yourself. I'm saying that you should find things that make you happy and step away far from the fucking darkness. Because the darkness will swallow you the fuck alive. I'm sorry I'm cursing a lot this episode, but I want to reiterate these things because I'm seeing grown, badass Marines coming from the darkness as we speak. This week I've been talking to my old buddy. Coming from the darkness, man. Seeing the light. Making art. Which in turn creates positivity in your life, dude. It is a residual effect of art, right? I don't care if you sing, if you make music, like I said, podcasting, whatever. If you can create something, if you're a fucking badass carpenter and you can create a house and sit back and enjoy and look at what you made and just suck in that positivity, bro. Even that. And I say even that. That's probably one of the more elaborate, complex arts that you can achieve is carpentry. Just being able to build, being able to start from the foundation all the way up to the cap on the roof. Like this is real art, right? I'm not saying that podcasting isn't art, okay? I'm not saying that poetry isn't art, but I got a lot of respect for carpentry now, okay? I just have to throw that out there. But yes, that being said, it feels phenomenal seeing these guys that have been living in that dark corner for years, dude. Years. This man has been in that corner for years, pulling himself from the dark corner. I said it last week. You are the only man or woman, right? You're the only one that's going to save your own fucking life. You're the only one that's going to do it. You're the only one that gives a shit enough about yourself to do that. No one else is going to help you. And if they do, it's because you either paid them and you can afford like help like that or whatever. Or somebody just has really good sense and they can sense that you're going through it because you're too weak to fucking reach out and ask for help, or you're too weak to find something that creates positivity within you, or you're too weak to find an art. And you might be beyond fucking, who knows, dude? I thought I was beyond saving, bro. You might be beyond saving. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. If you don't try to save your life, you'll never fucking know. So if you give a fuck about your fucking own life, you better save it because no one else is out here looking to save your fucking life, dude. Especially if you came from the infantry. You used to have your man on your left and your man on your right, right? And if you got a buddy like that in the real civilian world, if you got like buddies like that, that's fucking phenomenal, dude. Hold them close, right? But let's be real. Let's be fucking real. Since I got out the Marine Corps, there's not a dude to my left and not a dude to my right holding an M4, right? In my rear, either. So it's me. And then the close buddies I got around me. And the close buddies I got around me, I have to evaluate. Do I trust this man with my life, right? Recruiter's not doing it anymore. You're not just getting new boots from fucking infantry school anymore. You're not doing that. You have to evaluate these motherfuckers and you have to choose who you want around and who you don't want around. Because you're saving your own life. And if you keep negativity around, it's going to be twice as hard to save your own fucking life. If you keep positivity around, it can only fucking help, bro. It can only help. But yeah, dude, that motivated the shit out of me, getting these text messages from my old buddy this week. I'm not going to say your name, but he was, like I said, he was an infantry instructor for me in infantry school. And then after I graduated infantry school, I went off to 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines, did a couple of deployments. Came back, went to LAR, 2nd LAR, Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion. Was there for a little while before my 3rd deployment, and then that's when he had come to the unit, and we ended up serving together. So we started as student instructor, and then ended up peers towards the end of my career, which is fucking cool. It's just like, you can't say that about a lot of careers. You can't say that about a lot of jobs, especially random jobs. Like when you join the Marine Corps, you don't pick your infantry instructors. You don't pick your drill instructors. You just get them. You know what I mean? And then when you go out into the fleet, you don't pick your platoon. You don't pick your commanders. You don't pick your platoon sergeants. You just get them. You just get them. So for him to have been an instructor for me, and then serving by my side, as a peer, and me just knowing that the fact was it was completely random and we just got him, right? Is that fate? Maybe. I don't know. But that's a friendship I'll never forget. And I've been in trouble in the Marine Corps. Those of you that know me know I've done some dumb shit and gotten in a lot of trouble. And this dude he had been out for some time and came back to Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune and testified on my behalf on my character as a Marine. Now, how many people would drive from Georgia to North Carolina for some dude they taught infantry skills to back in 2010? You know what I'm saying? And we're talking, almost 6-7 years later after that. So this man I don't just consider him a best friend. I consider him a brother, and it feels good and wholesome, and it feels right and righteous to see my brothers that I've had for years come up out of the darkness, away from the fucking corner, the lonely corner, and find positivity and find the light and create art or do something that just brings nothing but positivity to their lives. Get a fucking cat, dude. Smile, cuddle, hug that shit. Stop living in these dark corners. As men, it's hard to come from these dark corners. It's hard because we don't speak to each other, man. We don't talk about our personal fucking problems. And until you find a true friend that gives a fuck about you that you can speak to, and it's probably just going to be family. Until you find that, it's going to be lonely. And I've seen look, man, I'm not against any kind of life choices, but I've seen a TikTok of this newly young man who was a young woman, right? She decided to be a man and changed her sex to a man, and now she's regretting that decision because she's used to how women were always there for each other, right? Women can talk through problems together without shame. But now that she's a man, she's learning that men don't do that. Men oftentimes live and die with their secrets. We don't share shit. There's too much shame and too much pride involved with being a man. And I'm not going to post a TikTok or nothing, but I'm sure some of you have seen it. It's sad. It's fucking sad, man. But it's the fucking truth. But we can change that, right? We can reach out and talk to each other. We can reach out and help each other through the darkness and through the fucking bullshit, right? Because it is your responsibility to save your own fucking life. It is your responsibility. Okay? But if you know you got buddies out there that if you fucking have had to your left and right holding fucking weapons, then reach out to them, man. These are the people you used to trust with your life. Why wouldn't you reach out to them now? Because your life is literally in the balance, just as much now as it was then. Except this time, you're the one with the finger on the trigger, not the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to your fucking buddies, man. Your left and your right. Those of you that served, you know who I'm fucking talking about. Reach out to them. Talk to them. Find the positivity. Lose the negativity. Find art. Find love. Find family. Get the fuck out of your head. I love you guys. Where we at? That's it. I love you guys, and have a great week, and I will see you next week. If I said I was going to speak about something this week and I totally forgot, I'm sorry. I think we hit some good points this week, and next week we'll just build from there. I love you guys. Have a great week. Please, if you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe to the Treeline Podcast, and I will fucking see you next time. Later.